Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final game for these two sides in their Six Nations campaigns. And at the end of this contest, we will know whether or not Ireland have already got themselves the Six Nations title. But they are head-to-head with Scotland at the Aviva. It's going to be an extremely entertaining game. Both of these sides have had different paths till this point. Ireland only suffering the one loss last week up against England, whereas Scotland, they've had a little bit of an up and down Six Nations competition. They did suffer a defeat last week as well. So both sides coming off losses. We have to wait and see who bounces back better. Also on St. Paddy's Day, so of course the Irish have to have that little bit of an advantage. And looking through at their starting side, it is Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan and Tyke Furlong as the front row. Joe McCarthy and Tyke Byrne in the locking duo. Then Peter O'Mahony at number 6, Josh Van den Flair at number 7, and Caelan Doris at number 8. At the way, or as we currently sit, Ireland are sitting on the 16 points on the table, so only either a win or a loss by less than 7 would secure them the Six Nations. Jamison Gibson-Park and Jack Crowley as the 19 combo. Bundyaki and Robbie Henshaw will be in the midfield with James Lowe, Calvin Nash. Now, there are rumours that Hugo Keenan may be out, so he might not be a number 15, but we will, of course, see the lineups in a very short moment. Looking through at the Scottish starting lineup, Pierre Scorman, George Turner, and Xander Fagerson as the front row. Grant Gilchrist and Scott Cummings in the locking duo. Then it will be at number 6, Andy Christie, Rory Darge 7, and Jack Dempsey as the number 8. Ben White and Finn Russell, two men who has to really take charge in this contest. Russell up against Crowley. I think it's going to be one of the most key battles out there on the park. Slade McDowell in the midfield alongside Hugh Jones, or Stephen McDowell, sorry, rather than Slade. Dawn van der Merwe, Cole Stain, and Blair Kinghorn as the back three. And in the chat, we have got Keenan injured warming up. So who is replacing him? By the looks, I almost just saw him. That looked like Lowry, was it? Is he going to be playing 15? I don't know whether or not he's done a lot of 15. If that was Lowry, do let me know, ladies and gents. And stat for Nate. Dan Park scored the winner last time Scotland won in Dublin. Says Jimbo, and I all in Amish. There's Robert Vale, of course. For these two sides, I mentioned about the Six Nations and what can happen from this contest. Ireland, they only need 1 point and they will secure the Six Nations, unless, of course, something crazy happens and England end up beating France by 80 points plus. Like, that would be the only way that we see the English get that Six Nations title. But Scotland can cause the upset here. And Russell ready to go. Going to be starting 10 for this contest alongside Crowley for the Irish. Two very capable 10s playing different styles in this Six Nations. Of course, a most recent win for the Italians up against the Welsh saw them keep their spot at 5th. Theoretically, if either of these two sides lose this game, or either of their games by more than 39, which should be tough to do, but if they did, then the Italians would in fact climb the overall Six Nations rankings. Looking at the previous form, though, for the Irish, they started off their Six Nations with a bang, winning that contest up against the French, 38 points to the 17. They also received the bonus point, which up until this last game up against England seemed like it was a possibility of a Grand Slam with bonus points intact. Would have been the first time in history that a side had been able to do so. 36-0 up against the Italians, which I feel just shows, I guess, how far Ireland are ahead of the Italians in that regard, even though Italy have been keeping it extremely close with a lot of other sides throughout the Six Nations campaign. 31-7 in their game up against the Welsh, and then that last game up against the English. 23 points to 22. Tyke Byrne has made his way out into the field as an individual here, celebrating his milestone, but now the two sides make their way from the tunnel. Ireland want to bounce back there after that defeat for the Scottish. They started their Six Nations campaign with a 27-26 win over the Welsh in Wales. Now, they were 27-0 up at halftime. Second half, their discipline let them down. And the reason I bring that up is this is a game that they have to make sure they are extremely disciplined, because Ireland's counter-attack is normally about as dangerous as it can be. So they have to make sure they aren't giving them more opportunities. They were defeated in that game up against the French narrowly. TMO had a lot to say about that contest. Scotland They did get themselves to win over England, though, by 9 points in the last time that the two sides played. That was on the 25th of February, which is why there's a little bit more intrigue about this game as well, seeing as Scotland beat Ireland, whereas, of course, we did see the English beat the Irish, but then we also saw Italy beat Scotland by 2 points, whereas Ireland won against them 36-0. So it's very hard to know how these two sides stylistically and points-wise are going to be matching up. Ireland have the most wooden spoons in 5 and 6 Nations history, says Krampus, although they're certainly looking a long way from that at the moment based off their current form. Come on, the boys in green, says Richard. And losing to England, that hurts, says Tar and True Jimbo, says Blues Nate. And there as well. And what's your score pick? For me, I would say I'm thinking Ireland by 12. Somewhere around there. I think that Scotland have to keep this competitive. They can't afford to allow Ireland to score points early, or else it will just be a very long day at the office playing catch up. Looking through at the reserves benches, Gary Ringrose back for the Irish. It's going to be interesting to see how he ends up going. Also, Harry Byrne is there at 22. Conor Murray, 21. Jack Conan, Ryan Baird. There's no real weak links in this Irish bench. Same can be said about Scotland, though. They've got some very capable players. Matt Fagerson, one in particular to watch out for, alongside Kyle Rowe later on in the contest. Currently, the flower of Scotland is being sung around the Aviva. Does sound like a few fans have made the trip, but maybe not as many as the Irish supporters who are in attendance and ready to go for this exciting clash. There's definitely going to be a reaction from Ireland, says John MC, and my prediction is Ireland to win 32 points to 12, says Big Rig Joe. And like we said, it's going to be about who can fire back better from suffering a defeat. It is a rarity that we see the Irish get beaten in recent times. They were on that massive winning streak. Then that World Cup quarter-final, of course. And then just this game last week, the only 2 losses that the Irish have suffered in the last maybe 2 and a bit years. So they want redemption. They will be coming out firing, and I expect fireworks early on from these two sides. Not having Matt Hansen has been a surprising weakness, says Jimbo. Although, to be fair, I feel like Calvin Nash at times hasn't been too bad in that Irish kit. He's had some good moments, but maybe just doesn't quite have that same, I guess, I was going to say attacking prowess as Matt Hansen does when he is out on the field. But I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back for the next contest that is taking place between England and France. If you do want to watch that one, it is in 3 hours and 20 minutes time. We will be live covering that game 10 minutes before the kickoff. And that match may already be determining who is finishing second, depending on the end result of this contest. Same threat, says Jimbo there, but the Irish national anthem has been sung, which means we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, for the Six Nations clash, the final one for these two sides. Now, looking through at what is to come for the Irish. Oh, no, in fact, we have still got some more of this Irish national anthem, but looking through, they have got the Springboks in just over 100 days' time, going head-to-head in South Africa in a 2-match series. Then the November internationals, 2 of which have been confirmed, 1 up against New Zealand and 1 up against Los Pumas. So there's a big tour coming up for the Irish, of course. They want to get themselves a win before heading into South Africa for those games, which they will be extremely competitive. And that series, bonus point win for Ireland, says Jimbo. 1 more, says Gus. And also France versus England, it's in France, says Krampus. And coming to Ireland, says John Sull. And there as well. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be the first try scorer in this game. We really get it right. We haven't actually been doing that prediction throughout the Six Nations either, but I'm going to say it will be Big Tyke Byrne in his milestone match. Will cross the try line first. I'm wondering whether or not we will see a lot of the outside centres throughout this game, Henshaw and Hugh Jones, whether we get to see them. Oh, when we see there, Peter O'Mahony actually breaking down into tears for this matchup during the national anthem. You can see how much it means to him. He mentioned about last week the discipline of the Irish needs to be better. Let's see whether or not it is for this matchup. Ireland 31-17. Says Gus. Dan Sheehan, says Jimbo. So that is it off a rolling maul or just an open play that he scores, Jimbo? French TV got their replays all sorted. I think Ireland will take the Six Nations, then go to South Africa and give these Boks a good dusting. Says Barry Turnbull. The midfield combo of Bundyaki and Robbie Henshaw, but of course Gary Ringrose will be making his way off the bench a little bit later on. They just showed who it was off the bench. Or sorry, who's starting at 15. It is actually Jordan Lama who will come in as the 15. That is due to the late injury of Hugo Keenan. Yes, them all. Says Jimbo there. England could finish 5th if France thumped them. Says Krampus. Couple important changes made for the Scottish in the midfield though. Having Stafford McDowell at 12. To wait and see what that does. Of course, no Sione Tuipulotu for this matchup. And Ireland to win by 20 points, says Minnie. And also, no, that's wrong, says Krampus. And there as well. 4th, says Krampus. And everyone give Amish a like. And can England do us a favour? Or sorry, I'm not sure who that is because it is just a black flag. I assume that is Scotland. So can Scotland do us a favour and win this best in the world debate? Says Notakaza. And just do it, Ireland. Irish Pro National Anthem right now, says Michelle, although they have both just finished being sung. And we are now ready to go in this contest. Peter O'Mahony showing emotion during the National Anthem in front of an Aviva crowd. This is the type of match that some of these Irish players will definitely step up for. We are almost ready to go. Not sure why the camera's lagging as well. Hopefully it is just for me and not for you guys as well. And Crowley will score the first try. I got a feeling, says Big Rig Joe. Now, the time is on. Matthew Crowley, or Corley, I should say, will get us underway. Carley, in fact, his last name is. We are now ready to go for this Six Nations matchup. The Irish are in position. And let's go France, says Krampus there. Jameson Gibson Park. Wi-Fi acting up. Hamish says Miminia. Maybe. I think it's actually camera this time that is acting up. It's lagging quite a bit, so hopefully it does come right very soon. King on with the ball on the halfway line for Scotland. Gets it away to Dawn Funamurva, who is tackled low by Bundyaki. Scotland should win here, says Michelle. And they have got themselves the early penalty in their favour. Not releasing against Dan Sheehan. Already 50 seconds in, the ball is available for Scotland to kick into touch. I will quickly check to see if the camera is lagging on the stream rather than just for myself. It may just be my editing software. Or streaming software, sorry. It is acting up, 1 minute in. In fact, my apologies, I said that around the wrong way. Ireland got themselves the penalty. It was Dan Sheehan who won it. And Dawn Funamurva, he was tackled. And then Sheehan straight in there to get the ball for the Irish. Doing extremely well to get that early penalty. Who are the officials, Hamish? So Matthew Carley is in charge of this one. The rest are on the Six Nations website, but it is Carl Dixon on this far side that we can see. I'm not too sure who the TMO is at this point. Now, knocked back by Tyg Furlong, Bundyaki. We tackle well and held up almost by Rory Dash. Ball available. Harry Star Hamish if possible, says Mimini. I don't think it will be, unfortunately. I feel like trying to restart here would probably cut the whole stream out. Vantage over. Ball is there for man at the back, being Calvin Nash. Jordan Lama running sideways. He wasn't actually expected to be in the starting lineup for this contest, but due to the injury that we saw of Hugo Keenan, it meant that the change was made. I think it's the green screen. I don't think it likes the Aviva today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. And we're going to go like that. And we'll just have to have a green behind us, I think, for this one so that it is relatively normal. So that will make people think that I've got a bias towards Ireland with the green. But that is not the case, ladies and gentlemen. We are calling this one straight down the middle. Scotland currently in position on the halfway line. Now Ben White to roll this one back for Scotland, looking to fire this one up. Yes, sorted, says Miminia. Are inside of their own half. Going to be kicked up. I think that was so that he knew not to go for the 50-22. It is slapped forward by the Scottish. Now Jameson Gibson Park goes off to the right-hand side towards Tyg Byrne. He was my pick for the first try scorer in this contest. Now, it didn't take long before Italy were able to get themselves their first try in the match up against the Scottish after taking a couple 3-pointers. I've seen Ireland play in blue. It always feels weird. Says Big Rig Joe. They're in their green, aren't they? The Irish for this one, the classic green colour. Oh, although their away kit, I think, ages ago. It's that one with the stripe. Yeah. Oh, no, am I thinking of Argentina's away strip? And it is St. Patrick's Day today, or tomorrow, says Gus. Certainly is. Now 3 minutes into this contest, once again, Ben White will put the ball up high. It looks like he was taken out quite late by one of the Irish players. Jack Crowley underneath the high ball, wrestled towards the touchline, but it's still in play for the Irish. Hanson Park goes across to Dan Sheehan, the man who got the first initial turnover for Ireland in this contest. Now they will once again roll this ball back. It seems like both of the sides are going for the kicking game early on. James Lowe off his left boot, charged down, but it goes into touch. Half a chance there for Andy Christie. Almost ended up with the first try of the match for the Scottish, but James Lowe, we know he's got a rocket boot. And Christie just couldn't quite catch up with that ball after he charged it down, put James Lowe at fullback. Says Blues now, although Jordan Lama, definitely not a bad option to have at the back. No, forget it, says Blues no. 5 minutes in now, Dan Sheehan with the line out throw nicely taken, although it's not straight. Oh, in fact, it's for not being back 2 metres for the Irish halfback there, Jamison Gibson-Park. So because of that, it's stripped away though. Ireland get it straight back after Scotland had possession for approximately 20 seconds, if not less. Now Gibson-Park goes across to Crowley, boots it downfield. Kinghorn at the back, the fullback for Scotland, thought about the 50-22, but now will run it back instead. Tackled by Tyke Byrne. Quite a few big names missing for both of these sides throughout this contest. Scotland notably do not have Tui Pelotu. They also do not have Jack Dempsey as another player. Oh no, they do. He's at number 8. Never mind. But in that midfield, Sione Tui Pelotu, of course, a massive gap to fill. Now the mark is taken by Isla McCarthy, shown as in a box there, says Jimbo. Yeah, just managing to rip that ball away before the knee was down. It's a completely legal strip from Joe McCarthy. And got the offload away to Dan Sheehan on the outside. Gregor Townsend is not happy with the ball security from his side. Though now George Turner has got the line-out throw for Scotland. Going to the front straight into Christie's hands. And the rolling ball is shut down straight away by Peter O'Mahony. Now Porter around the side. Tries to shut it down once more. He's thinking out of the box. Out live the game so far, see Brian. Yeah, fast pace between these two teams. We've seen a little bit of kicking involved, and we are going to see another kick here from Ben White. But as soon as they start attacking in this game, both of these sides, there will certainly be those fireworks. Nicely taken by James Lowe under the high ball. Trying to go up for it was Cole Stain, and the penalty goes the way of Scotland, rolling on the ground against James Lowe. And this will be the opportunity for Scotland to get themselves their first points of the contest. Cole Stain not able to take that one cleanly, and then James Lowe just rolling and crawling forward on the ground. Does end up getting penalised for it. He's disappointed. Looks like Scotland will be opting to go for the 3 points here. Finn Russell, the man to take it, has had a relatively successful Six Nations off the kicking tee. First kick of the match from 45 metres out now for Finn Russell. Only 8 minutes in, and this would actually give Scotland the lead in the contest up against the Irish, which I don't think was a very heavily, I guess, favoured option for early on in the match. A lot of people felt like Ireland would get that first initial burst, get the try on the board early, but currently Scotland do lead 3-0 up against this Ireland side. Currently 8 minutes into the contest. Now, Ireland have got themselves a kick. I've only missed one so far, says Jimbo. So yeah, incredibly impressive for Finn Russell. And that's the kind of confidence you want with a man taking the kicks. The fact that you can pretty much line him up from anywhere inside of the half and say, you try and get this over, and more than likely he will be able to do so. But Jack Crowley, another man who's actually had a pretty decent Six Nations when it comes to kicking percentages. Ball's available now for the Irish. James and Gisborne Park going to the left-hand side to Tyg Furlong. Breaking through the tackle attempt of Cummings, but dragged down by Skurman. Gisborne Park was asking for the penalty. Matthew Carley says no. Crowley back to Bundyaki. Goes to Calvin Nash, who's a wee way off his wing now. Crowley goes for the kick in behind, and it has gone into touch, a decent territory one. I think James Lowe wanted that ball in his hands rather than kick downfield. The result still is the same. The chance of a line out here. Scotland inside of their own 22. Not going to be that easy to handle here. 9 minutes in at the moment, though. Scotland with George Turner inside of the 22, like I mentioned. And ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken. Ben White goes across to Russell. Look to clear his lines, but it stayed in the middle of the field. James Lowe now on the halfway line has the opportunity to run this ball back. Tackled by Xander Fagerson. Ireland have got a little bit of an overlap here on the left-hand side. I wonder whether or not they will spot it. Omani is waiting patiently out on the wing with James. Oh, here comes Bundyaki driving up the middle. This time now, Gisborne Park goes across to Andrew Porter. Discipline will be extremely crucial for these two sides. Now they are shifting it to this left-hand side. James Lowe goes for the grubber, and it goes into touch once again, just a few metres out from the Scottish line, about 8 metres now between Scotland and their try line. I wasn't expecting Scotland to strike first, to be honest, says Big Rig Joe. I don't think many people were in this contest, but first try has not been scored as of yet in this matchup. Of course, we know that the Irish, other than their game up against England, have received the try-scoring bonus point in each and every one of their 3 fixtures. Andy Christie takes that at the front. Rolling maul now is set for Scotland. Don't look like they're going to make a huge amount of metres in the process of this one. So instead, Ben White kicks it downfield, almost hit a seagull with that kick. Now on the midfield, Jordan Lama. And his first opportunity for Ireland in the starting lineup in the Six Nations due to the late change of Hugo Keenan's training injury. Now Lowe got the advantage now for Ireland. It's a chance to throw absolutely everything at it, although they don't have Lowe out on that left wing as he did just take the last contact on the right. Porter hits it up. Now Gisborne Park looks to that short side again. Skip pass out to James Lowe. Tried to go for the grubber in behind. Doesn't quite work out. And I will now be back for the penalty in favour of Ireland. And they can answer back with a 3 of their own. Or do they go for the 7? Crowley looks like he just said corner, and they will go for the corner here, Ireland. The only game that they haven't been kicking for the corner a majority of the time when they win the penalties was actually up against England, and perhaps that is something that they've looked back at that game and regretted. Wondered why they didn't just go that little bit more aggressive early. Could have led to a lot more points. More time, says Jimbo. I mean, your prediction for Dan Sheehan to score the first try looks like it could come true here if they do get this one out effectively. Matthew Carley's just confirming who the receiver is for Ireland. In this case, it is Josh Van den Flair. Nicely claimed. Now they go off short side to Sheehan. He's a metre from the line and he's being driven into touch. Brilliant defence from Scotland. I don't think that was the right play for Ireland. I believe they should have gone with the rolling maul rather than running out of space on the short side. And I hope that doesn't put them off going for the corner again if given the opportunity. And Irv says Mimania, but great defence from Scotland now, only 5 metres out from their line once more though. They have to try and defend this one again. Oh, it's stolen by Sheehan and he scores the try. The interception, mistake from Scotland off their line out. It was overthrown. Gilchrist couldn't get his hands on it, and Ireland, in an unorthodox way, do score themselves their first try of the Six Nations fixture. 26 caps, 10 tries for Dan Sheehan. Got one of the best strike rates around. Comes to the Irish, but overthrown. Sheehan was ready for it. That was a better set play than when Ireland had the line-out throw. This time Scotland, they just need to rely on George Turner throwing at wonky. And then just great work from Sheehan. Bulldozes his way over the try line in open play. Andy Farrell, big smile on his face. He wasn't expecting them to score on that. Man, and Ushaka says Blues Nate there. Now Jack Crowley. A massive low from Germany again, says Ryan John Quinn. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. We are excited for not just this game, of course, but also the next game that has taken place in the Six Nations. That will be England versus France. How England will beat as they are then average, says Polo. Just consistency. That's one of the trickiest things for top-level side to have because England, they pulled off their massive win up against Ireland, but then in this game up against France, who knows? Maybe they lose it by 15 points and everyone goes, what happened? It's only 1 week's difference, but sometimes just stylistically sides match up better with certain teams. And for England, their attacking rugby that they played in that game up against Ireland, I think was some of the best that we have seen in quite some time. We'll see whether or not that continues in the game up against France, who did put on a lot of points up against Wales. Now Jamison Gibson Park going off to this left-hand side, off to Tyburn. Only 15 metres out from their own line here, Ireland, so they will just look to clear it in the form of Jamison Gibson Park. Want to be hanging around too long in their own 22, although it looks like this line-out throw will be from just outside green eyes for Ireland. Says Pat Drake there. Currently the way that the Six Nations stands, if this is the score in the end, it would mean that Scotland would be second on the table, but not for long because, of course, whoever wins England versus France can go ahead. But Ireland would secure the Six Nations if this is the way that it sits. Did anyone pick Sheehan as the first try scorer? They did. They picked him to score off the rolling maul, but still scoring an open play. Very impressive. They get it right. Here comes Kyle Stain. Great low tackle made by Bundy Aki. Played his heart out last week. Blair Kinghorn almost through. Great low tackle made by Crowley, and little mistake from Ben White. Ball goes backwards. Says Matthew Carley. So it will be play on. Ben White cross to Russell. Fagerson hits it up at McCarthy, who's been one of the young prospects for the Irish throughout the Six Nations. He has been looking extremely strong. Hugh Jones, first carry for him of the match. Looks like there is an advantage number. Was that number 4 offside? That's probably Joe McCarthy after I've just praised him. Now White to Schoolman. Runs straight at Josh Van den Flair. Dempsey goes in behind to Russell. Skip past to Hugh Jones. Ireland's defensive numbers in terms of tackling percentages are very impressive. They haven't allowed Scotland to break through as of yet. Another good low tackle made by Crowley. Now Russell goes to Fundermerva, shut down early by Bandiaki. Two powerful players. See the frustration on the face of Fundermerva. He wanted a bit more space, but Aki said, nah, not happening. And the receiver pulled Finn's fat out of the fire on that pass, says Gus. Now Scotland will go for the 3 points once again here. Something that Italy did quite well against Scotland last week, being able to tie up those points or get those points when they were needed. Shall I go up to 4 spots, says Blues Nate? Yeah, Italy, if they had taken a couple more chances, could have found themselves the highest finish ever in a Six Nations competition. Sadly for them, though, that did come up short. They still got themselves a great win. And Johan van der Merwe has got Pump in there as well. Oh, yeah. Now Russell close the gap between these two teams to just the 1 point. Now it's at 7 points to 6. England are the only team that gets penalised for being offside. There's Krampus. Joe McCarthy got penalised for being offside just then. So I guess that made your argument redundant. And nice crowds. I wouldn't want to miss the moment. There's Blues Nate. Yeah, massive crowd at the Aviva. Of course, it's going to be sold out for the final game of the Six Nations. There were times when this game seemed like it could have been the decider. The results, not quite allowing that can happen. Referees can only be used in the same sentence as South Africans, says Mimini. Although, to be fair, everywhere you seem to see, like, fan bases are talking about the referees. Like, yes, South Africa gets a bad rap for it, but it is other sides as well that do talk about it quite a bit. And beautiful crowd there. So here's Blues Nate Scotland inside of their 22, Ben White, asking for a bit of protection from Xander Fagerson so that he can put this one high once more. Does just that, nicely taken by Jordan Lama. He'd love to have a big game here, as it might actually get him a few more minutes in the South African tour if he's able to do so. Tyke Boone got the pop pass up. Now Crowley, and behind Henshaw, quick hands to Calvin Nash, beautiful offload to Bundy Aki, moves up to 22 out from the Scottish line. Van Flair goes back to Crowley. That has actually changed over the last couple of years, says Mimania. Now Jameson gives him Park. Goes to the right-hand side. Crowley inside ball to Peter O'Mahony. Porter. Tackled by Grant Gilchrist, and already well into the first half. Feels like the game just started, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, these two sides have an ability of making a game fly by. And yeah, almost 20 minutes in. Feels like a Rugby World Cup match, the vibe, says the Blues, Nate. And that's the thing, the last time that these two sides played was actually in the Rugby World Cup group stage. Kicked in behind from Crowley. Oh, did Kinghorn touch that ball? Not quite. They will go back to where Crowley kicked it from. Feels long to me, says Krampus. Calvin Nash, beautiful offload to Bandiaki. Flicked it out the back door, and it allowed Ireland to make an extra 15 or so metres. I don't want to see France thump the English, says Krampus, although that game only taking place in just under 3 hours' time, so we aren't too far away from that matchup taking place. Should be an entertaining one happening in France. We'll, of course, be covering it on the channel as well. And that is the last game of the weekend that we have got next weekend. Super Rugby URC. It's going to be the two competitions that we are covering. Andrew Porter just getting a little bit of attention to that shoulder. Won't want to go off the field as of yet. Still a lot less or left in the gas tank for that man. One try so far for Ireland. If we were to win this game, of course, winning it with a bonus point would be even more substantial. Still need 3 more tries. Oh, they're checking for a potential HIA. It's going to be for Scott Cummings by the sounds of it. We have got there England under-20s had a great win in France last night, says Jimbo. Yeah, of course, the under-20 Six Nations being confirmed, being won by the English. Ireland and England drawing in their under-20s fixture. In the end, a bonus point was the difference. 22 metre dropout now for the Scottish. They've kicked it downfield, and good tackle made on Caelan Doris. Ireland inside of their own half-time burn ball on the outside to Robbie Henshaw. Now Bundy Aki. Tackled in by Dempsey, and I think maybe Grant Gilchrist hit him a little bit high. They're going off to the left-hand side, Dan Sheehan. And the low tackle made. And Scotland have got the turnover in the breakdown. Finn Russell going for the 50-22 attempt. He's not going to find it though. In fact, it's going to go into the in-goal area. And Calvin Nash does put that ball down. It will now be a goal line dropout. Work from Andy Christie, though, to get in the breakdown, get the turnover from Dan Sheehan. Got it secured almost between his thighs. In that case, Gregor Townsend, still not a smile on his face. He won't be smiling until his side to get themselves the win here. Crowley, goal line dropout. Does opt for the long option. Gets it 45 metres out from the goal line now, and Jack Dempsey pins the ears back and charges at Peter O'Mahony. He's managed to tackle him successfully. White going to this right-hand side. Pierre Scorman skip past to Hugh Jones. Crumpet's calming himself down. Says Ricardo there. Now pass on the outside to this left-hand side. McDowell Of his first touches, Doris went for the turnover in the breakdown, not able to get it. Now again, Grant Gilchrist runs straight at Tyburn. Battle with the locks will be an intriguing one throughout this competition. Rory Darge thought about the offload but couldn't get it away. Calvin Nash unable to get the turnover. Dawn van der Merwe fends off two defenders. Needed to pass it there but was looking to run it a little bit harder, and Josh Van den Fleur wins the penalty. That is the perfect example of why he should have passed. Hope South Africa can beat Ireland today. There's Ricardo. Now, of course, South Africa are going to be playing Ireland in 112 days from now. That is, of course, taken from a day ago. 7th of July, the first match. 14th of July, the second. And Ireland have got themselves New Zealand and Argentina so far confirmed. And the November internationals. But that two-match series is going to be an entertaining one. Taking place in South Africa as well. We have got there our B team. There's Mimania. Now, Dan Sheehan with this line-out throw. Yeah, unfortunately, Dawn van der Merwe, he had a chance. He slipped over, so that was when he should have looked for his offload rather than getting back up and trying to run it again. Van den Fleur was all over him. And Ireland now get another chance. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Bondiaki hits it up, but Dempsey gets him. And not getting open field. Says Gus, and that may have been one of the reasons why he wasn't willing to pass, because he wanted to get a few more running metres under his belt and try and create that chance for his side. Jack Crowley with the inside ball to Dan Sheehan. Gibson Park goes to Byrne, or in fact this time it's Furlong, Crowley, quick hands. That was almost a tip tackle from Kyle Stain, but he pulled out of it. Tackle is completed. Gibson Park again goes to Crowley. Looking for the territory. He's going to kick it dead, though, so that is an interesting choice from the Irish. He puts his hand up and apologises to his team. Got a very dangerous backline, but that was definitely not the decision to make for Jack Crowley there. Hugh Jones, Doan, and Scoobin all come from us, says Ricardo Besta. Now Finn Russell. Talking to Matthew Carley at the moment. I'm not sure whether he's asking for a penalty or whether he's checking for something else, but there is a long discussion going on between Russell and the referee. And Russell now going with the 22 dropout once more, rather than Scotland opting to go for the scrum. So they don't seem too keen to have their hands on the ball throughout this first half, only when they are inside of opposition territory. And Shay has said hello, or he said, hey, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And South Scotland says Krampus. Oh, that's an awkward takeout of Finn Russell. The advantage is in favour of Scotland, I believe, for the knock-on. And Ireland now have got this ball on the halfway line. James Lowe looking to run this ball back. So far, both of these sides defending extremely well. We've only seen the one try. That was for the Irish. Now skip pass to Robbie Henshaw. The ref gets us the 16th man for Scotland. Up it in the away kit, says Blues Nate. And also, Ricardo, don't say Hugh is from us. Are you going to be stoned to death? Says Mimania. Now going off to the left-hand side, Robbie Henshaw. Good phase play coming from the Irish, although the counteract from Scotland is good. They've managed to get the turnover. Andy Christie. It's going to be a knock-on in the tackle, so I believe it just stays as the knock-on, which means that advantage is over. In fact, no. 2-year offside from the kick, so they go back for the knock-on again. And this time Scotland will have themselves the feed. Think Ireland feeling the pressure, says Polo. And then the crying face from Ricardo there as well. There's the booing from the crowd. But the reason that they've gone back is because the Scottish player, number 2 in this case, being George Turner, was offside. Andy Christie having quite the game so far. At least let me finish my pizza, says Ricardo. I wanted pizza on the last live stream. Sadly, because I live in a small town, there is nowhere that sells pizza at this hour of the morning, with it being 6:15. And I still want pizza, but sadly there is nowhere that has a wait for the Springboks, says Wally. And there, and of course that game taking place in around 115 days. 7th of July is when that one will be taking place. And pizza for England game, maybe. Nowhere will be selling anything of pizza's type till like a good, maybe after that game. Maybe, if I'm lucky. 26 minutes in, the Irish have to try and defend this scrum. Got the referee cam. That is something that I've had all throughout the Six Nations, but we very rarely see used. Our ball's going to be fed in by Ben White. Pack weight's 903 kgs compared to Ireland's 896, going down on this near side. It's going to be another scrum feed for the Scottish, although they've actually got the free kick in this case. I'd like to think they'll go for another scrum rather than going for the kick downfield. And Bagel English Muffin. And how things are fancy Scotland to run them close, says Dean. There is a chance that this game goes down to the wire, definitely with the way that it is currently sitting. No, Bro Nova Neflair is Dutch, says Ricardo. Crowd getting behind their side. Battle though, Xander Ferguson versus Andrew Porter on the near side. I believe there's a little bit of rain falling now at the Aviva, so they'll make it a tad slipperier for the players out there. Finn Russell now goes off to Duan van der Merwe. In fact, it's going to be McDowell running through the middle. Fends off Crowley, still going with a fantastic run. Crowley looked for the turnover, wasn't able to get it. Russell now flat ball to Schoeman. White goes across to Russell, whose pass misses everyone. Kyle Stain is back there to clean it up. Raining all day here, says Jimbo. Go to the bagel shop and ask for a bacon bagel. We do not have a bagel shop. We have a bakery, but it won't be open yet. Now pass on the outside to McDowell. I believe for Scotland after that last run, we'll actually have the most running metres out of any player for the Scottish in this match. Ben White kicking it in behind, once again playing the territory game. And it rolls into touch for another line out. So both sides trying to match each other stylistically. Both looking to play that territory game, force the opposition into the 22. That is actually where we saw the try come for Ireland. Maybe Scotland looking to do the same here. Great fence from Stafford McDowell, and the metres that he made helped Scotland get on the front foot. Caven says Jimbo. Dan Sheehan to throw this ball in for Ireland. Taking his time. And now it is put in to Tyke Byrne. Nice stepping from Caelan Doris. Are Ireland the best in the world? Says Knock Wonder. That sounds like the kind of question that will get me in trouble no matter how I answer it on this live stream. Of course, you can look at world rankings. You can look at who the current world champions are. And that normally will tell you roughly what you need to know about who is sitting number one currently. But of course, the only side to beat that number one side in recent times is the side that's about to take out the Six Nations competition. So that's the argument side of things, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, that tour in July. And is it raining at the Aviva? It certainly is. Just a little bit of rain falling. That is going to be a knock-on. In fact, a forward pass there from the Scottish to Duan van der Merwe, who is not happy at the moment. Yeah, so it is a knock-on theoretically from Duan van der Merwe. And New Zealand play England this summer, says Krampus. Just getting a little bit of chat from Matthew Carley about these scrums, making sure that they are keeping them solid here. And step 1, bread in the toaster. Step 2, tomato base. Step 3, cheesy cheese. Step 4, mount in the microwave. Step 5, voila, home pizza. Says the Blues note. Best team in Europe. Says Big Rig Joe. And Ireland aren't the best team in the world, but they're top 5. Says Big Rig. Now ball is going to be fed in by Jameson Gibson Park. Very even contest from these two sides. And imagine the best the imagination, the best ever Irish team lose the championship to England, says Polo, and I think South Africa and New Zealand have Europe's number right now, in my opinion, says Big Rig. Now advantage coming the way of the Irish at scrum time, and it is now going to be the penalty. Pierre Schoolman this time, the man who is penalised. Neither of these sides really getting a lot of free-flowingness coming in their game. We have seen so far the Irish have scored the one try, but that was off a Scottish mistake. This first half is tight. Says Brian, we've seen 4 penalties conceded by the Scottish. Do South Africa still play rugby? Says Jimbo, the URC. Of course, we are seeing them in action. They also had a training camp, the Springboks, a few weeks ago. We saw a few new names in there, except for Diamani, who actually missed out, which a lot of people thought that maybe he would get that opportunity after his fantastic form for the Stormers. Now Dan Sheehan to throw this line out in, taken by Peter O'Mahony in Ireland. Against going for the rolling maul, instead Gibson Park goes off the back to Calvin Nash. 22 metres from the line now, going to the left, Joe McCarthy, tackled low. Quick ruck speed from the Irish, something that has worked all throughout the Six Nations campaign. Available for Gibson Park. It's unplayable, is it? Yeah, Christie's ended up getting in there, making it unplayable. So Scotland now have got themselves the scrum from inside of their own half. I'm trying hard not to. I'm doing it quietly, though, says Blues Nate. Yeah, great bit of work from Van den Flair initially with his burst, but then Christie makes it unplayable because it was called as a maul. That is why the turnover is allowed. 7.5 minutes remaining in this first half between these two sides. We are just under 3 hours away from France versus England starting. Of course, we are going to be covering that one on the channel, so be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, we will also have a green screen for that one, but sadly for this one, it seemed like it was completely glitching out. Andy Christie, though, he has been really good throughout this first half. Probably the pick of any player on the field, with the exception of some would say maybe like a Bundy Key. How do you see the series between the Springboks and Ireland playing out? Says Knock Wonder. I'd love to see it be 1-1, just because I feel like that still adds to the intensity of the rivalry between the teams. South Africa should have the big advantage, though, being at home. Ireland have won the last 3 games against South Africa, but none of which have been played in South Africa. So there's a lot of factors that will lead to hopefully some very good rugby being played for those 2 matches. I just wish it was a 3-match series. I feel like that would have helped secure it a bit more in terms of who actually, I guess, wins the series per se. And keep it up, Christie. Blindside for Scotland, solid land, and Springboks are taking a break in Japan, says Johan van der Merwe. Now Jameson Gibson Park goes back into the pocket to James Lowe. Going to kick this one in behind, nicely taken by Finn Russell. Now on the retreat, James Lowe has to get back there to be able to cover it, and he has done just that. Now puts it onto his left boot, decides he wants to back himself, and almost gets wrestled into touch by Finn Russell. But Ireland still in possession. We are 33.5 minutes through this contest. Still only the 1 try, but 2 penalties have been taken by the Scottish and both successfully converted by Finn Russell. Gibson Park 30 metres out from Ireland's line. Puts the kick high. Lowe is the only Irish player chasing. It's cleaned up by Cole Stain. Missed tackle from Lowe. McCarthy uses his face to make the tackle. That is probably not the safest way of doing it, but the penalty goes the way of Ireland for obstruction. This game is tight as a tiger, says Mimini. I don't know how tight a tiger is, to be fair. And Scotland putting up a good battle, says Manny M. They are just talking on the commentary about whether or not that should have been a penalty. That time it was against Andy Christie for obstruction, so it gives Ireland another chance here. Now, it's around the halfway line. It looks like Crowley is actually going to be opting to go for the 3 points here to extend that Irish lead. It'll be a relatively tough kick, although like we mentioned, he's got a high kicking accuracy. He's 1 from 1, 44 metres out for this kick. James I has added a few pounds since his days with Leeds. Says Eric J, and these lads are going to be knackered. Game might come down to stamina, says Big Rig Joe. Of course, both sides have phenomenal benches as well for later in the contest, but 35 minutes of a lot of hard-hitting, fast-paced action. Not many tries have been scored, but Crowley's missed. I jinxed him, unfortunately, there. It only just had the distance, but he did not have the accuracy. Now Blair Kinghorn able to run that one up towards the 22. Kick back downfield to Jordan Lama. Now Crowley making sure that Lama's on side to chases up and under. He's getting after it. Nice take from Kinghorn there again, though. White goes back to Russell. Thought about kicking. Now fires it away to McDowell. Being taken down early by the Irish defence and Tyburn. Good morning, Hamish. Close game so far between Ireland and Scotland. Says Marnus there. Yeah, very close between these two sides throughout the first 36 minutes. Wouldn't be surprised if once one of these sides starts scoring, the other side are able to do just that as well. Just the one try of Dan Shen. That was off a mistake from Scotland off their own line out. Going to be put high by Ben White. Yeah, baby, says Eric J. Of course, I understand that reference. I don't think Crumpus does. And misses it, says Brian. That is going to be the knock-on from Ireland. Looked like Gibson Park was a bit confused about it. Mini-Me as gold member, says Mimania. We're going to see it here. So Josh Van den Flair just ends up knocking that ball down in the breakdown before it reaches Jameson Gibson Park. I behave, says Eric J. I haven't watched those movies in a little while. I might have to watch them at some point. Bit of an oldie but a goodie. And too many languages. Everyone should speak French. Says Crumpers and Ireland, no line speed. Very non-aggressive defence. Says Jimbo there as well. But currently 37 minutes through. Another chance here for Scotland. They are just inside of the Irish half. Oh, lack of balance, so they have to start again. Says Matthew Carley. I think that Scotland will be more than happy with how this half has gone, though. With the fact that they are only down by 1 point. They're only one penalty away from taking the lead. And Mason on. And also we have got their Ireland needed a good talking to at halftime, says Brian. I mean, both of these sides, like, they haven't really found their full potential. I think that it's quite an even stylistic matchup between these teams. I'm not saying they're tired, but the Irish have had a rough couple of back-to-back campaigns. Past 12 months could be a bit fatigued, says Johan van der Merwe. Yeah, I mean, like, fatigue will always come in a little bit, definitely with it being the last game of the Six Nations. I think that the bigger thing here is both of these sides are coming off a loss. So they don't want to make those little errors that they made in their past game again. So I think that that's why we've seen a little bit more of a tentative Irish side here, because they don't want to make those little mistakes that they made up against the English. That is another knock-on, this time from Scotland in the breakdown. So Ireland have got themselves the scrum feed. And only 90 seconds remaining now. I went to a high school's rugby game. It was Stellenberg High School against Pal Gymnasium High School. Says Marnus. And who won? Says Johan there. Jones and Gibson Park now has got the scrum feed for the Irish. Just 1 minute remaining in this first half. So plenty of time theoretically for one last play. Wouldn't be surprised if Ireland try and get themselves down the field. Look for that possibility of a penalty. And maybe Ireland should play more home matches at Cheltenham. Says Eric J. Talking about James Gibson Park in the work rate. They made Ireland have shallow depth. I don't know about that. I mean, the under-20s, it looks like that academy side of things is really working well. A lot of guys from Leinster, Munster, Ulster, Connacht who wouldn't mind an opportunity of stepping up for Ireland if there are injuries. And it was tied at half-time last time out, says Jimbo there. Now going to the right-hand side, Bundiaki in the midfield gets it away to Crowley, looping around James Lowe. Low tackle made by Stafford McDowell. Tyke Byrne runs it at Christie. Bundiaki again. Tries another run forward. It's taken down. Well done from Pierce Skurman to be able to sneak his way out of that breakdown. McCarthy had a bit of a juggle with the ball, but it actually has worked out for Ireland. In fact, it opened up a bit more space for them. Now going to the left-hand side. Be the last passage of play for the half like they have just mentioned, but this is where Ireland can strike and get themselves a good lead going. Or it is where we could see these two sides. Peter O'Mahony gets back up to his feet and just thrown to the ground. Gives him Park, goes across to Porter again. Some Park back to Crowley. Looked like he was setting up for a drop kick for half a second there. Oh, is that a knock on the ground? Oh, there's going to be play on Andrew Porter. Now it goes back across. Jordan Lama, one more on the outside, running low on space. Sheehan into touch, I believe. Or was he? No, he wasn't. And now it's kicked downfield from Blair Kinghorn. And Ireland, they will just boot this into touch, I would think. Oh, that's a high tackle on Calvin Nash, and he's flying down the wing now. They have got themselves the advantage now for Ireland. Jack Crowley goes for the chip in behind. James Lowe trying to chase after it. And they'll go back for the original penalty. Ireland's attack has been horrible, says AJ. And you understand Afrikaans legend, says Johan. It was a very good guess, that is for sure. Because I knew it would be something along those lines. Yeah, high tackle there on Blair Kinghorn. And yes, Calvin Nash was dipping, which means that it's a little bit trickier to get underneath him, but still caught him high. Ireland's attack has been extremely predictable, easy to defend against. There's AJ. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury for one of the Irish players here. They have now got the time off. Do they want one last crack here in this half, though? That was after that big run of Calvin Nash that he has suffered a bit of an injury. Right, Jack Crowley. They are 22 metres out from their own line here, Ireland. It looks like they're going to kick this one towards the touchline now. Let's kick it downfield. Does manage to find touch on the halfway line. These boys could use a breather at halftime, says Eric J. This is everything that didn't happen in the last 35, says Gus. Maybe he showed the way in the World Cup. Now Sheehan. Going to throw this one in. Now, the scoreboard does say halftime, but we are not quite at halftime yet, ladies and gentlemen. We are 43 minutes through this first half, and there is still a little bit of attack left for these teams. Peter O'Mahony goes across to Jameson, gives him Park. Now, Bundiaki in behind to Crowley. Lowe trying to loop his way through. I think Scotland, if they end up with this ball, will kick it straight into touch and say we're happy at halftime being one down. But Ireland, they want one more try. Now offload there for Crowley. Josh Van Flair not going through. A little bit of a counteract there from Xander Fagerson. Putting the pressure on Ireland's defence. And that breakdown. Gives him Park again. There's also Robbie Henshaw. The left again, Crowley. Tackled by Skurman. We're up to 43 and a half minutes. That one has gone into touch. It's hit the referee in the face. And that's going to be half-time, ladies and gentlemen. 7 points to 6 in favour of the Irish. So an incredibly first half, or incredibly close first half, I should say. And man, I don't know how you do it with the time difference. You must be running on caffeine at this point, especially during weekends like these. Says Johan, fun fact, I don't actually drink caffeine. So I honestly have no idea how I have energy. We're currently sitting at 6:30 a.m. We've done an all-nighter. This is our 4th live stream of the day, and we've still got one more around the corner between France and England. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. See exactly how this second half goes for these two sides. Scotland, I think, will walk into halftime as the more confident side. Because, yes, they are down by 1, but only 1 try being scored by the Irish. Scotland, they haven't had a huge amount of attacking chances. And props to Scotland for not letting Ireland get that psychological score before halftime, says Big Rig. I'm playing very slow, heavy, and predictable, Says Jimbo, Red Bull. No Red Bull. Cocaine. No, not that either. Half time. Says Brian in there as well. And New Zealand has to import tea and coffee. It is very expensive and going soft to heavy. Says Eric J, or Eric J, I should say. And good job, bud. Watching here in Canada. Says Sus. Hopefully I've said that correctly. But thank you very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated, of course. That next game between England and France is just around the corner. We're going to be covering that one on the channel as well. So anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Scotland playing good or Ireland playing bad? Says Sports Fan. I'd say it's a little bit of both. Like Scotland too have made plenty of errors, but like it's still not going to be one of those halves that either side look back at and go, we did really, really well. We're going to see some stats here for this matchup. So far, we have seen, of course, that one try for Dan Sheehan. That is the only try we have seen in this contest. In terms of the live win probability, still 78% in favour of the Irish for this matchup. Possession 60% for Ireland in this game. And while we're at it, we'll quickly go here. And the odds, as they sit, Scotland are $4.50 underdogs, which is actually less than they were at the start of this matchup. So I guess the score is not as one-sided as many people were anticipating. When we look through at the meters gained, we're seeing 283 for the home side compared to the 137 gained by the Scottish. 11 defenders beaten for Ireland, 9 defenders beaten for Scotland, 2 line breaks compared to the 1. All these stats, of course, in favour of the home side. 9 handling errors from Scotland. That is something that has cost them throughout this game and probably the thing that they will look at the most heading into halftime, just making sure those passes are good, straight to the player. Help drive them forward. There we go, Hamish brother. Oh, well, what a legend you are. Going Ireland by 10, says Birdie V. Both teams are playing good, says Big Rig Joe. And only if Scotland win by 8 points. I assume that is for if England can win the tournament. So yeah, they need Scotland to win this game by 8 so that England have a chance. But then they would have to beat France with a bonus point. France coming off a big win in their last contest. But overall, stats-wise, definitely in favour of the Irish. Discipline, we're seeing 6 against Scotland compared to the 2 penalties against this Irish team, or if England beat France by over 80 points. Yeah, that's the other option, but that's pretty tricky to do, I would say, in this matchup. What I'm quickly going to try and do, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm very quickly going to unplug my camera, plug it back in, and see whether or not it then allows me to put the green screen, just because I feel like it looks a little bit weird just having the green. So one moment, this will take like maybe 10 seconds. I'm going to quickly turn off the camera. I can actually keep on talking during the time that the camera is off. I'm currently behind my PC. We're going to plug the camera back in. We're going to come back over and we're going to sit down. And then we're going to go like this. Hello, we are back. Right, now we're going to try and put our green screen back on and see if it lags or whether it's going to behave itself. We've turned it back on, and it looks like it's still okay. It's still going to do it. Second half, we are not going to have the green screen. There we go. That is good to know, though. The fact that it still wouldn't work, even if I tried it. I guess now we know. England can only win by beating Ireland on GD, and they'll need to score 80. And the Warriors in the Storm game was a closed one, though. Xavier Coates slandered down. That was a phenomenal try from him. With how far out he leapt to then score that try in the fashion that he did. Like, it was heartbreaking for the Warriors, but yeah, just really classy try from Xavier Coates. I want Scotland to win by 7 points, says Alan Day. And thanks, says Sports Fan in there as well. But the second half of this contest, not too far away from starting. Do let me know your full-time score predictions. Do we think that the Irish can get the job done, or will it be Scotland cause the big upset at the Aviva for this matchup? This is the way that the table sits. If it sits the way that it currently is, Scotland would move up into second with a bonus point, so they would move to 12 with a points differential of 3. and Ireland would sit at the top of the bunch with 20 points on the board, claiming the Six Nations title. But as you can see, Italy sitting there, 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. Brilliant work by the Italians, and there is a chance, depending on how that France versus England game goes, that Italy could actually find themselves making their way up to 4th, although it doesn't look likely, as it would mean that France need to lose that game up against the English by 39 points. But that is the way that the Six Nations standings are. Just did the math. England scores 300 points against the French. They stand a good chance of winning the tournament, says Johan. Hamish was doing the game. Did not get camera to show Lenovo issue. Hope I can be back for France, says Jan Lu there. So sorry about your camera. I've actually had camera issues too, which is why we've got the green screen just as a green screen rather than as the actual screen, I guess. I know France need to score 80 points, says Krampus. And Ireland haven't created a single gap in the Scottish defence yet, says Jimbo. And with the world-class backline that they have got, you would expect that it would have been a little bit different. For the Irish, looking through at the reserves, maybe these guys are the men who will make the difference. Gary Ringrose, sensational player coming back for this contest. Connor Murray at number 21, not a bad option. Harry Byrne, Jack Conan, Ryan Beard. A couple of loose forwards to try and give them some forward momentum. And for the Scottish, they've still got Ashman, Rory Sutherland and Miller Mills as the front row replacements. Matt Fagerson, I think, will be one to definitely watch out for. And then Kyle Rowe there at number 23. Second half of this contest, I would say, we're still around maybe 7 minutes or so from the start of the second half. But I will mention anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Scotland, there's not a lot confirmed in terms of future fixtures for the Scottish side, but for the for the Irish, we know that they have got their game up against South Africa in 112 or so days' time. That is taking place in South Africa, the first of a 2-match series, which they do play off their weekend directly after. Then in the November internationals, it's been confirmed that Ireland will be playing New Zealand, and also they will have a game up against the Argentinians, which will definitely be one to watch out for as well. I've got there Le Crunch, and I told Ireland, I think Ireland could get a grip of Scotland's tactics and get the win, says Brian. And hey guys, 46 likes, smash that like button. And if you are new, subscribe to the channel. And somehow, or if England somehow win this tournament, you have to go and get that pizza. I think that's a fair trade-off. And those are going to be 4 cracking games, says Big Rig Joe. They certainly are all competitive, hopefully. The highest level sides will be playing their rugby at. And France will be too excited, says Krampus, and England will be sneaky. Well, that's the thing. It's hard to know how that match is going to go because France are at home, but we also saw them at home when they were drawing with the Italians. Hard to say, Hamish, both sides, solid defence. Errors is their friend at the moment, says Blues Nate. And yeah, like I said, 9 handling errors for the Scottish throughout that first half. 4 for the Irish. It's still a little bit higher than they probably would have liked for that first 40 minutes as well. And yeah, 189 peeps are watching, but the lights don't match. Come on. Says it was Johan van der Merwe. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. I will mention, normally we do have a green screen. It's just technical difficulties have meant that it isn't working for this one. It's hopefully going to be back, though, for the next live stream that we have got, which is England versus France, kicking off in 1 hour and 15 minutes time. Then England and France front rows will be fireworks, says Jimbo. Yeah, there's some brilliant stylistic matchups for game just around the corner. And it is the last of the Six Nations, so it's quite sad in a way that we don't get any more Six Nations rugby, and that will actually be the last time we see these sides, including these 2 teams, in action before June and July. So, yeah, it's a wee while. We've got to make the most of it, enjoy every second of this second half. I predict a kick fest from England if England do that. What they did to South Africa in the World Cup, England win, says Krampus. I think the biggest curiosity I have in the second half is how aggressive will Ireland come out of the gates? Because I feel like they'll get the halftime chat of we need to create space, we need to create gaps. They've got the players to do so. James Lowe's been a little bit more quiet in this game than we are used to seeing. What are the chances that Scotland can win, says Peter Mason. At the moment, in terms of the Six Nations win predictor, it's got Scotland as a 20% chance of winning that game, and that is roughly what the TAB have got them as as well. They are $4.50 underdogs going into the second half. And got to finish URC and Euro next, says a Jimbo. Yeah, of course, the URC returning just around the corner. There are 4 games, including South African sides, back to back next week. For anyone wondering about the Six Nations schedule, next week we're going to see Glasgow Warriors taking on Cardiff. We are also going to see Ospreys versus Munster. We get to see Sharks versus Ulster, Scarlets versus Benetton, Stormers versus Edinburgh, Connacht versus the Lions, Dragons versus the Bulls, and a Zebre taking on Leinster. Come on, Ireland. Says Avon High lads, poor first half. Irish players look very tired. Don't know what it is. Says Coleman. Can England still win the title? They can at this stage. But only if Scotland win this match. So pretty much the gist of it is if England do win their game up against France with a bonus point, and Ireland lose this game up against Scotland by 8 points, there is a chance that they can get themselves the Six Nations title. Points differential, though, is heavily in favour of the Irish. I've actually got it here. There you go. So the way that it sits, Ireland have got a points differential of plus 80, so there is no way for England to catch them in that regard. But if Ireland don't receive a bonus point in this game, it then means that England, if they receive their bonus point up against France for scoring 4 or more tries, which they have not done at any stage throughout the Six Nations competition, they have had 3 wins without bonus points, then that would mean that England take the Six Nations. But more than likely at the moment, the way that it sits, I don't see Ireland losing this game by more than 7 if they were to be defeated. I also see them firing a little bit better in the second half as well. Not too far away from the second half getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. Just showing the highlights of a sevens matchup that did take place between New Zealand and Samoa, of course. The next sevens leg is Hong Kong. That has taken place on the 5th of April. That is an extremely busy weekend because not only is the sevens on, the Champions Cup is on. We will see multiple sides in action for the round of 16. Both defences have worked hard this week. I wonder if tonight's game will follow the pattern, or are we waiting for the bench effect, says Eric there. I think that it's going to be the bench. Players who come off as the reserves are really going to make the impact here. I don't see England losing to France either, says Jimbo. And I believe that Scotland will win this one, says Herman. Although, fun fact, England do come in as underdogs in their game up against the French. The way that it sits currently, we will go like this. And like that. Currently, in terms of the odds, England are $2.70 underdogs. So they have actually gone down in terms of those bets. You like Pavlova? It's all right. Like, you got to have it with something, though, or else it's just pretty much a fluffy thing of nothing, isn't it? Scotland will win this one. See it, Herman on both sides now, just making their way out of the tunnels for the second half. This is probably the most important 40 minutes for Scotland in their Six Nations, as this is going to be what determines if the game is over, well, if the tournament is over, or whether England versus France still means something. Now, there is still a chance, even if Ireland lose this game, that England could lose their game to France or not win it by a big enough margin, which would then mean that Ireland are still crowned Six Nations champions. But of course, with the fact that they won it last year, they will want to try and secure that title as soon as possible. And this is the time to be able to do it. But Peter O'Mahony out there on the field with his side. He was emotional during the national anthem. He knows how important this game is for this Irish side. But both teams have made their way out of the tunnels. The referee's the same. New Zealand's national dish is a fluffy thing of nothing. The Kiwi lad says, Krampus, I knew you were going to try and make the comment about that. You've been sucking off Pavlova, or talking about Pavlova, for the past about 30 minutes or so. Gregor Townsend now does look focused in the coaching box alongside Andy Farrell. Both coaches not looking too keen on feeling confident about this second half, but I'm sure that the halftime chats were very motivating for these sides. They'll be ready to go. 40 minutes remaining in the Six Nations campaign for these two sides. Who can make the most of it? An evening, Hamish Rugby Rockers, says a Ruth there, and Ballet fan, says Eric J. It's going to be kicked off, nicely taken by Grant Gilchrist. And France has the better pack, England have the better backs, says Eric. Just got back from work slogging Saturday, says Ruth. Now Ben White rolling this ball back for the Scottish. Let's put it high again, chasing after this one, Dawn van der Merwe. Doesn't take it cleanly as it is in the hands of Jordan Lama. Now looks to counter-attack, and Ireland start to get their attack firing. Unlike what they did in the first half. Backline goes out to James Lowe. Good defence. No, he's bumped off the challengers. Gets the offload away to Bundyaki. This is much better from the men in green. Now Andrew Porter gets it away to Crowley. Bounce pass to Peter O'Mahony in the midfield. Tries to shove off Ben White. It is wrestled to the ground. Gibson Park gets it off to Jordan Lama. Hello, Ruth. Wales lost to Italy. Says Krampus, and also we'll get them missed all the action. No, says Ruth. Gibson Park goes off to Robbie Henshaw. Now to Porter. They're still on that 22, but good phase play coming here for the Irish. Short ball to James Lowe. Fantastic defence from Scotland up to this point in the match. Not missing a huge amount of tackles. Hamish, I'm impressed with your hoodie and your super mustache as well. Rocking the rugby. Says Roof. Now flat ball. Tyke Furlong. Ball's there again. Jack Crowley goes back across to the right-hand side. Calvin Nash almost through. Referee says the tackle was made. Caitlin Norris up to 13 phases in a row here for Ireland, and now the ball is loose, but the penalty advantage was in their favour. So they've got the chance to take the 3 if they want it to get a 4-point lead, or they could kick it for the corner. Go for the risk, try and reap the rewards. What choice do they make here? They are going to go for the 3 points. That seems like the safe bet in that regard. And great start for the Irish, says Jimbo. Big shot coming in on James Lowe. What I might do, ladies and gentlemen, is I might just take the green screen down. Like that. I feel like just having the background of the room is actually better than the green screen. You get a little bit more of an oomph about it. I'll move a little bit this way so that the camera does not see that light. There we go. But now lining up this kick, Jack Crowley. One of his easiest kicks of the day, and it has gone straight over. So now going to be making the score 10 points to 6 in favour of the Irish. We have got powerful Irish. Scotland need to watch the offside, says Eric, and at this point take the 3, says Brian, but it's going to be kicked off and out on the full from Scotland. Early mistake made by Finn Russell. He gets the smile and the thumbs up. Gregor Townsend will not be happy about it though. And I only heard yesterday, the great Lewis Jones passed away, RIP Golden Boy, says Eric J. Hi, Jimbo, says Ruth in there as well. But 43 minutes through, Ireland have now got themselves that little bit more of a lead as it currently stands in the Six Nations competition. Ireland would take out the Six Nations. There's someone behind you, Hamish. Says Eric, nah, that's a TV. Or a door, one of the two. You have lights in your house, Hamish? Yeah, they're a bit fancy. But it does keep it light at night time. Opening 4 minutes of the second half has been impressive, though, from Ireland. They've come out with a bit more of a spring in their step, a bit more aggression. Now they have got themselves the scrum feed on the halfway line due to the mistake made by Finn Russell. He did put the ball straight into touch-off kickoff. I have cheesy corn crisps and biltong. Sounds like you are well set, Ruth, for an afternoon of rugby. Big push there. Ireland get themselves the penalty advantage. Now Gibson Park, cut-out pass to James Lowe, who is out on the wing. They'll go back for the original penalty again. I have a TV2, says Crumpus. Fun fact, that is. And what did you think he had going on at Crumpus? And quick kicks, quick no, says Blues Nate. Massive push from Ireland at scrum time, forcing Scotland back. And scrums throughout the early stages of this match have actually been relatively even. But Now, Jack Crowley, he will look to kick this one towards the touchline. It would be 50 metres out if he went for the kick, so decides that it would be a better option to go for the corner instead. That one has gone out 20 metres from the line. I didn't know New Zealand had electric, says Krampus. I think 18 metres out, they have said. I think they've got to go out wide here. If you're Ireland, get the ball into James Lowe's hands or hit it up with Bundy Key. Those are two of the key players for this Irish team. Good to see you, Ruth, says Gus, and another Ireland penalty, says Brian. It's like Scotland, we're trying to close that gap a little bit more. Add line out time. Matthew Carling now says they are good to go, and they've thrown it to the front. Nicely taken by Caelan Doris. Gibson Park going across to Bundy Key now. Tackled by Russell. To the left-hand side. This is looking good. Once again for Ireland. They have got numbers to go through. Robbie Henshaw. Gibson Park looks to the short side. Tries to snipe, but he's run straight into Andy Christie. Claimed by Joe McCarthy. 7 metres out from the try line. Gibson Park looked to that short side, but instead decides to go to the right once more, where the big man Tyke Furlong was ready to have his first carry. And I've only got enough for me. My huge appetite, says Roof. Nice hands from Robbie Henshaw. Gibson Park gets it across to Jack Crowley. Counter ruck from Grant Gilchrist. Doesn't manage to steal that ball. Robbie Henshaw, another big shot coming into that man. Sounded dodgy. Bundy Key, 1 metre from the line for the Irish. Skip pass. It's gone through the hands though. And it's back for Kyle Stain, but they will go for the original penalty. That was the chance. I think Jordan Lama has dropped that one cold. Okay, Peter O'Mahony just asking the question, is it a professional foul? How many times have they been penalised down this part of the field? And it has been a few. Sitting in about 9 penalties conceded now, I believe, for the Scottish. And good day, Gus. It's dark here in Cape Town. Says River, Scotland wins. Can Ireland still win the championship? They can. It all depends on how much Ireland lose by. If Ireland lose by less than 7, then they have still got themselves a Six Nation title. Of course, that would be a bit of a lackluster way of securing the title, but they'll still take it. Sitting 5 metres out. And they look like they're going to take the quick tap here, the Irish. Dan Sheehan taps and goes. Moves to only 2 metres out from the try line now for the Irish. So Porter's going to pop that one up close to the line again. The defence from Scotland just out from their own line has been good. Furlong has knocked that ball on. They're going to check it because there might be a chance that there is going to be another try here if Furlong did get it down. And Buddy Hectic Man, it's going off. I'll stay here for now. Says the Blues, Nate. I like back and forth. 3 live streamers live right now. Keep an eye on the other live streamers. Says the Blues, Nate. And oof. Krampus says Mimania. Okay, the on-field decision is no try. Carl Dixon felt that it wasn't grounded. So they're going to check this one for Tyke Furlong, who doesn't look confident at the moment. Looks like a deliberate knock. Says Brian. Right, we're going to check it out here. Oh, hang on. He's got a little bit of something on that. Tyke Furlong, as he went to put it down, just loses it. Although the crowd think that it's going to be the try, they're saying he might still have enough control of that ball. So they said it has to be conclusive. Oh, that looks like a try from that angle. But I don't know whether it will end up standing as one for Tyke Furlong. See, that looks like downwards pressure. From that angle, they want slow through the replay to see if there is clear separation. It's a last-ditch effort from Finn Russell. I see, and I feel like the original try being no try, that still looks like he's got enough downward force on the ball though. But I think it depends on what angle you look at. It's on-field decision is no try, then I think it needs to be clear. Yeah, see, that for me looks like a knockback. But does he have enough control for them to regard it as a try? We're about to hear. The ball has been dislodged. So stick with the on-field decision of no try. The ball is lost forward. Why is Jack Crowley tapping his head so much? He's sitting there going like that. I don't know if that's something that he wanted to show Matthew Crowley, that he can do a trick, holding a ball and tapping his head at the same time, unless he was trying to say that maybe there was a head knock there of Ty Furlong. He grounded it, says Eldon. But now a bit of relief for Scotland, sees that is called as the no try. Separation, says Eric. And Amish in a serving commentary, Cavaliers Rock, always relaxing me after a hard day, says Roof. Furlong disappointed, thought he had himself the try. I can rub my belly and tap my head at the same time, says Krampus. But then can you do it the other way around? And rub your head while you tap your belly. There you go. And tapping, keep himself calm, says Jimbo. Jameson gets him park. Oh, Tyke Furlong wasn't expecting that, and that will be a forward pass / knock on. Whichever way you're looking at it, it is now going to be a Scottish scrum. Was he rubbing his tummy at the same time? I think he had the ball, so he wasn't able to, unfortunately. Yeah, looked like... Oh, see, it's ended up actually not being a knock-on from Ty Furlong. It's just accidental offside against the Irish. There, come on, the good-looking Scottish. Let's go, boys, and get your legs moving, says Ruth. And the errors, we have seen 8 from Ireland, 5 from Scotland. Oh, Ewan Ashman was trying to take his pants off, needed the coach to help him with that, or the man on the sideline. It looks like a try to me, but it was tight, so the on-field decision counts, says Brian. Now Ewan Ashman here is going to be on the field for George Turner. First of the subs are being made here. We also see the other change for Scotland. I believe that is Pierre Skurmanov for Rory Sutherland as the other change. And rest on-field decision, says Jimbo. Game's a little bit too close for comfort for both of these sides. There is still plenty of potential of a late change in the score department. Curious to see which way does he end up going. Cape Town banned me, says Crumpers. That doesn't surprise me. Now Ben White feeding that ball in. Big push from Scotland at scrum time. They go off to the right-hand side. A little bit of a dummy sell there from Ben White, running the other way. Hardly seen Duan van der Merwe throughout this contest. Of course, will want to get his hands on the ball throughout the second half. Ewan Ashman gets his first carry. Since making his way onto the field only moments ago. Christie looked for the offload, found it to Jack Dempsey. Missed low tackle from James Lowe. Another offload, but this time it goes to Jameson Gisborne Park. And Ireland back in possession inside of their 22. Having such fun to SpongeBob SquarePants or Scooby-Doo, says Ruth. And leave it in the bedroom, Krampus, whatever it is. Too much info. 15 minutes gone in this fixture. Another chance here for the Irish. Roll this ball back. And to boot it downfield into the pocket. Let's go to Jack Crowley. It's a brilliant kick, but doesn't find touch in the end. So Kinghorn able to counter with Russell. Got numbers to the left here. Scotland, Duan van der Merwe receives the pop pass. Doesn't get through the gap, unfortunately. Jack Dempsey goes to Russell now. Kyle Steyn rush defence on him by James Lowe. Lined him up early. Managed to make an effective driving tackle. And holding all well, Italy got the W. Woohoo. Says Marco. Welcome in, Marco. Hope you are doing well. Of course, the next game just around the corner, 9 a.m. New Zealand time. That is the one between England and France. That'll be the last of the Six Nations. Scotland, that's going to be dropped by Russell. It's called as a knock-on. He's not happy about it. Threw the ball into Calvin Nash, then didn't actually mean to, so he apologises to Nash for that one. But one try at the moment is all we have had throughout this fixture, ladies and gentlemen. Two very evenly matched sides throughout the first 51 minutes. Looked like Ty Furlong struggling a bit with his neck. I believe that is from maybe when Crowley was doing his tapping on his head. Perhaps that is what he was talking about, a knock earlier on for Tyg Furlong. While I'm munching on biltong and cheese, don't even disturb me. My cats know this to be true. Says Russo, we've seen 174 tackles made by Scotland, almost 100 more than the Irish in this game, but they've only conceded the one try. That was off a line-out mistake, which pretty much they had no chance of defending when they were 5 metres out from their line. Now it looks like Ty Furlong will be making his way from the field, so Ireland also having to use their bench. Here comes Finlay Bealham. Try and change this game late for the men in green. I mentioned how the benches could be the difference makers in this contest. Currently, Scotland sit as $7.50 underdogs. Ireland sit as $1.10 favourites. They have now got themselves another scrum chance just inside of their own territory here, Ireland. It's time for Tig anyway, says Jimbo. Yeah, he probably was only maybe 5 or 10 minutes away from his sub B. And mate, Andrew Porter might stay out there a bit longer before they bring on Cian Healy. I think by 65 minutes, we're going to see both benches pretty much emptied. It's going to be interesting, though, throughout those last 15 minutes, who is the freshest side, seeing as this game has been played quite a quick tempo. That's an advantage there to Ireland. Massive scrum feed. Now they go off to the left-hand side. Pass him by. Huge shot on Crowley by Finn Russell, who kind of pushed his head into the dirt as well. Bit of arrogance from the Scottish fly half. Calls himself the Messi of rugby. Showing it there. Now only 5 metres out from their line, though. Scotland have managed to get the ball back. Wales missed their departure flight. Italy have landed. Says Blues Nate. Firstly, I had knickknacks and a few jugs so far. Says Mimania. Now the ball is going to be available for Ben White. They went up further than that. Says Scott Bowie. Now it's going to be kicked in a touch by Ben White. Ireland 20 metres out. There was a try, says Klaus Squid. In there as well, and Gin and Tonic, way to go, girl. And Scotland showing a lot of steel. Says Manny. Yeah, both of these sides, like they've had their moments. I don't think we're seeing much of the Scottish attack throughout the second half. In fact, we're seeing very limited amounts of Scotland on attack throughout this game. But Ireland starting to flow a little bit more throughout the second half. They've been close to We are back, ladies and gentlemen. The Wi-Fi cut out again on this one, unfortunately, but we are now back. Like I mentioned, the scrum feed, the moment taking place for the Scottish, only a few minutes out. I'm not actually sure what happened to get us to that point due to the Wi-Fi being gone. But yeah, I do appreciate you all still sticking around for that Wi-Fi outage. We are now back and ready to go for this one. Still another 27 minutes remaining in this fixture. Ben White to feed the ball in for Scotland. 5 metres from their line. Oh, folding in on the far side is coming from Matthew Carley. And 20 tackles in the first hour for Christie. He is an absolute tank of an individual, that is for sure. Oh, yeah, go there, win this against the head, says Jimbo. Another chance goes begging. Are we in for another shocker? There is a chance that we could see an upset here between these two sides, and like Scotland are still in this contest. That is the big thing. 4 points difference between these two sides. They're having to defend like their lives depend on it at the moment, but you know, there's still that chance. They have looked like the less likely of the teams, though, to score in this second half. That is the only thing. They haven't had a lot of attacking chances. They're going to try to get themselves one soon. Jack Dempsey has got that ball available for Scotland as they now roll it back. And come on, Scotland, don't give up. And Christie tackle the wing on the line, says Gus Grennan. Oh, kicking that one towards the touchline. It is a good kick. Nash thought about taking it quickly. Decides against it in the end. Decides it's not worth that risk. It's going to end up heavily costing them. Ryan Beard now making his way onto the field. That is for Joe McCarthy, who is still putting in a decent shift for the Irish side. Dan Sheehan, he is off the field. That is for Cian Healy. These two benches. Oh, sorry, for Ronan Keller, I should say. This is intense. Scotland staying in the fight just, says Shane. Yeah, it does seem like we're only one play away from the Irish scoring. But if Scotland can stop that each and every time, they still have half a chance. And having me morning coffee before I hit the gym this morning. Loose ball. Scotland take it. And it's Xander Fagerson now, who is in a possession. Finn Russell kicks it high and across the field. Taken by Jordan Lama. I just feel like Scotland haven't looked like they have enough attacking intent throughout this game, though. They're too obsessed with trying to kick that ball rather than running it. When you've got someone like a Duan Funamurva, you've got to use him. Speaking of that, man, he has just taken the high ball. Counter ruck there from Ireland, not doing. George Horn passes it across. That is accidental offside. Badly done by Xander Fagerson. Bit of a brain fade. And now it's another chance for Ireland to create an attack. And Duan Funamurva is furious. Then saying that, he hasn't been completely all good in this game. He has made his own mistakes. But they need to stop with these slight errors, because or else they will be out of this game. What? Says Mimania. And Ushbad's playing. No wonder I was no good at school, says Naz Williams. And it's St. Patrick's Day today here in New Zealand? It is indeed. So I think it's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow in Ireland, if I'm correct. Of course, if Ireland take out the Six Nations, there will be even more celebrations on St. Paddy's Day. And Duan Hoff, says Jimbo, yeah, they've decided to take Duan Funamurva from the field. Interesting choice, but I believe that is to replace him with Kyle Rowe. Also looks like Peter O'Mahony. I'm looking to flash Gary Ringrose. He will make his way onto the field now. First time in quite some time we get to see Ringrose take to the field for Ireland. Ringrose on. Says a Jimbo. Calvin Nash has been taken from the field. That's the kind of momentum shifter that Ireland may need. Chuck him on attack straight away. That ball has not found touch. Oh, but it has apparently. Thought he kept the ball in the field or played Kinghorn, but must have just had that foot on the line. Oh no, it just went through his hands. My apologies. I thought he had that one. Duan Funamurva. He is frustrated about that one too. He is actually still on the field as well, I should mention, rather than Kyle Rowe. Well, that'll be the advantage now for Ireland. Hello, just joined, says Undili. So I hope you are doing very well, mate. Hope you are excited for this contest. Counter ruck. Not doing for the Scottishans. I bought a Gary Ringrose. Now the question for Ireland is, if they do get themselves the penalty, do they go for the 3 here? Or do they go for the 7, try and seal the deal? in this contest. I think they're better off going for the 7. There's been enough penalties against Scotland down this end of the field that more than likely a card would be in play if the next one was to come. Now Crowley goes for the flat pass over the top. They'll go back for the penalty. Advantage should have been over, says Scott Bowie, although there was a new advantage for offside in the middle of the field as well. And you got to fight Roof. Looks like Dawn for the move, having a bit of a chat there with Bundy Arkey. Both having a laugh about it. Arkey's getting right up in Dawn's face, trying to test if he can annoy him. I had to charge my phone. We won between Wales and Italy, so in the end, Italy were the team who got themselves the victory, 24 points to 21. A relatively close game between those two sides. Wales chose very late in the game to start firing, and they never really looked like taking out that win. And Christie, man of the match, solid lad. Yeah, he's played extremely well throughout this game. Christie and the Blues, says Gus in there as well. Well, we will go like this and like that. There we go. And the Blues, says Gus. Now line out throw for Ronan Kelleher. This is an important one. And yeah, Gus Nazi, Nate Krampus Mimania. And we got fight for the right to party, says Ruth. Now, ball being thrown in. Nicely taken by Peter O'Mahony. And the rolling maul will commence. We've seen one try for Dan Sheehan in this game. Can we see the other Irish hooker and Ronan Kelleher get himself over the try line? He's going to bust away. But once again, Scotland stop him just short of the try line. Andrew Porter now round the side. Tackled well by Scotland. The defence on their own goal line has been immaculate throughout this game. But will it finally break? I feel like Ireland should take man, says Undeli. Lee BLM gets close. Scotland looking for the counter ruck. Not able to get it now. Tyke Byrne dragged down just short of the try line once more. So many players are stuck in the breakdown. Now Ireland with Andrew Porter. Goes around the side again. Scotland looking for that turnover if it presents itself. Peter O'Mahony, good shot coming in on him. Now back across. Vanden Flair, flat to Bundy Arkey, who is tackled. Beautiful, quick ruck speed, but the ball's knocked on by Gary Ringrose. Welcome back for that man. And the scrum now going to go the way of Scotland. And good defence from Scotland, says Eldon. I can make a rap song out of your quote, bro. We can go like this. We'll go like that. And we're going to hit it from the back, says Nuz Williams. And also very good there. Try for the Green Machine. No, stopped by the Scottish side, says Eric J. And no Ringrose, says Jimbo. Yeah, normally makes very limited mistakes, Gary Ringrose. But Scotland hanging on for dear life just out from their line. And once again, they have been able to survive. The Irish crowd starting to get a little bit more nervous once more here. Is there a chance? "20 minutes left now, ladies and gentlemen. The last quarter of their game between Ireland and Scotland, the last of their Six Nations campaigns. They want to finish it on a high. A lot of the subs have already been made, including Ringrose. Just got himself his first touch off the drop. And also, all it takes is one try from the Scottish Supernova. A one knife, many knives, says a Mimania there. Scotland need to win a penalty here to get some sort of attack going, or else they will once again continue to defend just out from their goal line. Needs a booster before they visit South Africa. I give it to them 100%, says Undeli. And that is the penalty to Scotland, exactly what they needed. Ronan Kelleher not happy with that one. 202 tackles for Scotland. They have been tackling all over the park and somehow have only conceded that one try, which actually didn't really come from a missed tackle per se, just came from the mistake at line-out time. Gets found touch from Finn and Russell. One left, many leaves. Toronto Maple Leafs, says Gus. And how much Was Italy's lead before Wales' big comeback. So Italy led that game 24 points to 7, or somewhere around there, I believe it was, before Wales started getting late tries. And the match, or 21-7, I think it was at one point, or somewhere around there. And you two still haven't found what I'm looking for. So here's Ruth. Now, scrum in favour of Scotland, who now look to march their way forward once again. Freedom, says Eric. Ball is available for George Horn. Does put it up. He's actually been scragged down. Matt Fagerson now onto the field. James Lowe. Oh, another mistake this time from Jordan Lama. And Scotland find themselves 25 metres out from this Irish line. Chance out wide. Hugh Jones goes to Blair Kinghorn. Now the thing is, that's a knock on. And it's going to be play on the island down the wing with Jordan Lama. In fact, it's Ringrose tackled there by Duan van der Merwe. But they are inside of the Scottish 22. Can the scramble defence defend as well? There's a new advantage for offside against Scotland. They went from almost scoring down one end of the field to now having to defend with everything they've got once more. And surely the fatigue is starting to set in. Gibson Park goes across to the left-hand side to Tyke Byrne. Great low tackle made by Christie. Gibson Park goes to Kelleher. These sides, very, very solid defence throughout this contest. That should have been brought back. Ireland were offside. Says Scott Bowie, and they have still got themselves the penalty advantage here. Across to the left-hand side. And the midfield, Jordan Lama. Caelan Doris look for the great offload, although it bounces, and Peter O'Mahony able to take it brilliantly. Now Gibson Park snipes round the breakdown himself, just short of the try line here now. New advantage. That is quite cynical from Matt Fagerson. He's only been on the field for a minute. He may find himself going off the field now for 10. Now Ronan Kelleher, the crowd starting to get behind the Irish side at the Aviva. They want another try. They can sense another try. But can the Irish deliver on what the crowd are after? They're being told to use it. Now around the side of the breakdown again. Only England can be offside, says Krampus. And come on, Scotland, let's go. Says Mimania. Another advantage, this time against 18. That's Xander Fagerson, I think. In fact, no, the original number 3 who's still on the field. Now pass out wide, gives him Park. Short of the line, that will be down, I believe, for Ireland. I'm sure he's got that down, Robbie Henshaw, but they're going to have another look just to make sure. There should almost be a yellow card for a Scottish player as well for repeat infringements just out from the try line. Check, says Jimbo. And must be yellow, says Jimbo. Yeah, I feel like there has to be a card coming soon. 3 penalties in a row in your view. Was Italy the better team? Yes, 100%. Right, they're going to be going upstairs now for a TMO decision. Lost sight of the ball momentarily. That's the comment from Matthew Carley. On-field decision is no try. Kept it up, I think. I think it may have just brushed the try line, if I'm correct. So initially he was held up, and then I think he made that little push downwards. No, I think that's held up. I think he's done sensationally well, but they will probably still end up going to the bin for a player. But that is great work from Redpath to just stop Robbie Henshaw from scoring, and a no try probably, says Eldon. And Isaac Hamish says a roof there as well. So yeah, it's going to be no try. Still doesn't take away from the fact that there is a penalty advantage in favour of the Irish. So they will once again have a chance just out in front of the post to either take the 3 or go for the corner. But I believe a Scottish player will be going to the bin now. More than likely Xander Fagerson. A hand under that ball the whole time, with the on-field decision being no try. I believe that is the way that it will stay. Of course, Ireland will have another chance to create another attack. I really wanted it to be, but unfortunately not. Says Eldon Emerald. Yeah, brilliant defence from Cameron Redpath. Get their hand under the ball and stop it from being forced. And Scots need Sean Connery, says Ruth. There's no clear evidence, says the TMO. Stay with the on-field decision. Okay, 18 was the last one who was offside. Matthew Carley's calling for 18. 18's not on the field, mate. Number 3, it is Xander Fagerson. Oh no, 16. Yeah, Matthew Carley was going, I want 18, and he was yelling at Scotland. Finn Russell's going, he's not on yet. And then Matthew Carley was like, well, give me who came on for 18. And Finn Russell was like, no one. We still haven't made that sub. So Ewan Ashman will be the man who ends up with the yellow card. So no hooker on the field at the moment for the Scottish. Looks like straight away Ireland are going to be opting for the scrum option. Would be the smart choice anyway. So that means that they have to make the sub. Oh no, they're going for the quick tap. Gallagher now does get it close. Ball in mind to Andrew Porter. I think he's got that one down. Yes, he does. And Ireland score the try. A much needed one because they have had the attacking option for most of this half. It's over now, says Jane Carroll. It looks like it could be secured. The thing is, even if Ireland were to lose from here, which I'm not saying is a possibility before people get angry at me, the thing is, I don't see Scotland winning this by 8, so I see Ireland, no matter what from here, securing the Six Nations title. It's time for Scotland to get fresh legs on. Brutal leads this pace. There's Eric. And let's go, says Adam Kennedy and Roger Moore. Great advice. Says gives to that one has gone over 15 minutes to go, and the score is 17 points to 6 in favour of the Irish. A massive contact being made. Porter, though, got it down in the end. And that was coming, says John MC, and Bollocks Ref, that was way short. See, I think it was initially short of the line, but then from the Andrew Porter, momentum carried him over. We're going to see a replay here. Try's been cleared by the TMO, has just been said, because I think Scotland were asking that same question. And Six Nations over now. And thanks the big man upstairs, says Orion. And also France vs England is dead, says Grumpus, and Scotland shaken, but not stirred, says Eric J. Now Jamison Gibson Park kicks it downfield. Let's get it into Dutch. So for Scotland to have a chance of winning this game, they pretty much need to score within the next couple of minutes. They also don't have a hooker on the field, so they will need to make the original change once again, get George Turner back out there. And that will be at the expense of one of their players. No, in fact, they're keeping the same players on the field. Matt Fagerson will be the man who has the line-out throw now. I don't know how much this man's played hooker throughout his time. They do go to the front, and it's stolen by Ireland. Now, either way, I think they were still going to get that ball, but mistake made by Scotland. Didn't want to take another man off the field, though. I low-key supporting Scotland, but yeah, man. Says Undaly there. Nicely taken there on the halfway line, though, from the youngster Kyle Rowe. And Scotland says JYD. And Naoka on the field, damn it. Says Anaz Williams. But luckily for Scotland, it hasn't cost them too badly. They have still got position just inside of their own half. Looks like they will be going for the kick up high once more from George Horn. Every time they've been on the halfway line, Scotland, that is exactly the tactic that they've used. Some of the times they've retained the ball. Other times, like this one, it's been unsuccessful and just giving the possession straight back to the Irish. I was actually talking about personifying the role. Let me know. Says Miminia. An 8% possession to Ireland in the last 10 minutes, says Eric, and it's starting to show because the fatigue of Scotland starting to set in. Andrew Porter has been taken off the field. That is for Cian Healy. Also, Harry Byrne is on the park. That is going to be for, I think, Jack Crowley. Has been taken off. They're just showing the slow motion replay again. It looked like maybe there was a bit of held-upness to that try of the Irish, but 11 points difference between these two sides. Chance on the halfway line. We've only seen forward scoring in this contest. Andrew Porter and Dan Sheehan, the two men who have crossed the try line for the Irish. Next game taking place in 90 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen. We will be live covering that contest. How long to go? Cannot read the clock, says JYD. So currently we have got another 13 minutes left. No chance for Scottish to make 2 tries. But then there's God, says Andeli. And also we have got their fields of Athenry, I should say. I think I still pronounced that wrong, haven't I? 10 minutes here is Jimmy Ricard. By the time the scrum happens, a little bit less time left on the clock. JYD with the thumbs up there as well. Townsend, he'll be disappointed with how this match has gone. Definitely after half-time when the score was 10 points to 6, there was more than enough, or in fact, 7 points to 6. There's a lot of opportunity for Scotland to come back in this game. I heard you saying that Matthew Carley is a referee. He certainly is. And soon we can talk about our automobile. Oi, open the door, clown. Yes, Blues, Nate. So Connor Murray not too far from making his way onto the field as well. Scotland can get 3 tries in 10 minutes, says says Ruth. This is the last game for the weekend. It is not, no. In an hour and 30 minutes time, we have got England versus France. And green grass of home, says Dove there. Of course, there will be massive celebrations for the Irish with that Six Nations title pretty much in their grasp. St. Paddy's Day around the corner. There's going to be some celebrations big time, I would say. And we haven't says Krampus, and also we have got there, hi Amish bro, says Michelle, welcome in. Now another scrum feed for the Irish. Clock ticks down to only 11 minutes left now. And come on, Scotland, you only scored twice. Says Kips and South Africa, here we come. Says Colm. Gone down in the front row. I think there was Jack Conan trying to ask for the penalty. He does not receive it in the end. Now Scotland. Just out from their 22. Massive kick from Redpath, but it's gone out on the full. If there was a 50-22, there was a chance that may have just helped Scotland back into the game. But because it wasn't, it means that now Ireland back on attack, and they will be chasing the bonus point here. They only need 2 more tries in the next 10 minutes. They've got a man advantage for the next 4. I think that will be very much worth a crack for Ireland to get a good margin up against this Scottish side. Wales are singing that Tom Jones song. And also, I'm going to share more of your awesomeness. Love your commentary, bro. It's healing without sounding corny, says Nars Williams. And yeah, we greatly appreciate you being here week in, week out, mate. And we've got plenty more coming up in the near future. We've got next week URC and Super Rugby. I believe we're going to have about 7 games that we are covering. Tell you what, my eyes are looking a bit rough. I look like I've just done a line of coke, but I have not. I should clarify. It's just because I've been up all night doing commentary. We're up to our 4th live stream of the day. And we've got 1 more around the corner. And Nita James Boncar to do that. Of these annoying passengers just fully sent today, and Hamish is still king, and who get in the spoon? It is Wales. They have finished last in this Six Nations competition. Just quickly showing you the table as it does sit. Wales on 4 points, Italy on 11. Currently, with the way that this game sits, Ireland would finish with 20 points, Scotland still on that 11, and their points differential would drop them down to 4th as they would drop below the French. And also, stab, says Krampus. And also, line of coke, says Cole. And Wales need to take the splinters out of their teeth. Wooden spoon, says Ruth. Now, Harry Byrne be kicking this one for the touchline. Ireland still trying to be aggressive here. Why are Ireland struggling to beat Scotland? And how much time has left, says Mono Granger. I think people probably underestimated how strong Scotland can be on defence. They've made about 230 tackles throughout this game, only missing about maybe 10 or probably 15 to 20 of those tackles. Like, brilliant tackle numbers. So it's always going to be hard to score tries against the side that are tackling with such a great completion rate. Come on, Scotland. One last 5 metres out from the line. The rolling ball. It's gone slightly backwards for the Irish. I admit I was nervous, but it's looking a bit better now, says Brian. And glad they slapped Gatlin with it. I hope they slapped Gatlin with it, says JYD. And thanks for the month's 2 badges, Hamish. Says Michelle that it's going to be a scrum feed now for Scotland. They're 5 metres out from their line and they've managed to hold up that rolling maul of the Irish. Scotland need 2 penalties and 2 tries. What are the odds? Not great. I'll be honest. But, you know, who knows? I think that Scotland's best bet is to just try throw everything at it. Like, at this stage, you've lost this game if you go for your kicking game. So you have to ask the question, how much of a risk are you willing to take for the chance of conceding a last-minute try? And I think for Scotland, their mindset has to be, well, we might as well go for it. This is our last game of the Six Nations. We've got 8 minutes remaining. They have made 229 tackles, so my stats weren't too far off, and they have missed 20 tackles. Just to put that in comparison, Ireland have missed 12 tackles, and they've only made 87 tackles throughout this matchup. So for B&O Mugs, mate, says Miminik and Ireland win as it stands. Yes, they would take out the Six Nations title. Now, George Horn, ball is there for Scotland. I think they were considering trying to win the penalty advantage. Duan van der Merwe throws himself at the line, but he is taken down well. Now, Horn only 5 metres out from his own line. And Nurika Raw is madness spoiling games, says Dove, but that one is going to be kicked into touch. Sitting now about 30 metres out, sick in the South Africa tour as a 3-match test series. Yep. I don't understand why we do 2-match series. Like, I get that schedules are tight, but surely there was enough time to shove one more game between the two sides in. Maybe it's something to do with the world rankings as well. Certain sides aren't allowed more games than others, but like, just chuck an extra game in. Could have been the decider as well. If it finishes 1-1, I think a lot of people will be annoyed that we haven't got to see the third one. We're going to be able to check out the other live streamers. She's slapping these boys on Call of Duty. She's a bully, says Blues Nate. Now Finn Russell kicking it back downfield. I see taken by Crowley, who eyes up the 50-22. Took quite a bit of time to line it up, but he can use up extra seconds on the clock. They are in the box seat at the moment for the Irish. Can Ireland make it to a respectable score? I'd say 17-6 isn't too bad, to be honest. Like, it doesn't look bad in their part. They haven't conceded a try. They've got themselves 2 of their own. Scotland, though, they are looking to score themselves a try here. Nicely cleaned up, though, by Run and Keller on the halfway line. The Warriors put in a gutsy performance yesterday. They did. We were actually covering the Waratahs Blues game. We covered the last 3 minutes of the the Warriors game. It was brutal. That last try of Xavier Coates. Our ball is there again for the Scottish Redpath. In fact, that time Kyle Rowe plays halfback. 5.5 minutes remaining. Scotland going for the kick again. Uses up too much time, I have a feeling. One Van der Merwe having a chase after it, but it's a poor kick. It's gone straight into the hands of Harry Byrne, who can now try and create the counter-attacking chance. The tackle is made, so they do have to let him go. Connor Murray goes back to Crowley. Now James Lowe looking for the boot downfield. 50-22 is on, but it doesn't go out. Instead, it goes into the in-goal area. Russell has to force it down. In fact, he doesn't. Instead, it allows Kyle Rowe, who's almost caught by Duan van der Merwe. By Josh van der Flower. I could say, don't talk about the Warriors, man. It's like talking Foz and his son, depressing. And come on, Scots, you got to liven up yourself, as Bob Miley sang. Now George Horn round the side. Floats it back for Scotland. They're on the 22. Finn Russell tries to run over Harry Byrne and he gets dropped. So they will go back for the original penalty advantage. And looks like Russell has actually stayed down a little bit here. Decided he wanted to try and run straight at Harry Byrne and paid the price. And Ireland number 5 in the world going forward, says Kips. Of course, being Ty Byrne, but Jamieson Gibson Park receives Six Nations Player of the Match. And well done, Ireland, says Big Rig Joe. And ladies and gents, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't for the best commentary out. Says Marco. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, of course. Jamieson Gibson Park getting, I guess, slightly, I don't know how to describe it other than touched by his teammates. And that was a spectacular finish from Coates. Yeah, he kind of flew towards the line. Right, they're actually checking this one of Finn Russell because he stayed down. They are checking it on the TMO. There might be a little bit of head-on-head here. Yeah, a little bit of head-on-head. 22 is upright. This is probably going to be a yellow card for Ireland, which would then give Scotland a man advantage for the final moments of this contest. Now, Scotland currently are $36 underdogs. Becomes $31 underdogs with that yellow card. They need something big here in the final moments. They have only got another 4.5 minutes to work, ladies and gentlemen, and they are yet to score themselves a try throughout this game. I know Scotland lost, but Christie gets my vote. Yeah, he was brilliant throughout this game, Andy Christie. Meets a yellow card threshold. It is on report. Trousers are overrated anyway, says Krampus. And they managed to beat England after all, says Eric J. Now Finn Russell has the choice. He's holding his cheekbone there, Finn Russell. Does that mean he should go off for an HIA? Seeing as it was a yellow card for head-on-head. Looks like he's going to be continuing in this match though, Finn Russell. Yellow for Ireland, I think it certainly was. Now 4 minutes remaining. Line out throw for Ewan Ashman. Goes to the back and claimed by Grant Gilchrist. Horn. Into the midfield. Here comes the big man at 17, Rory Sutherland. Been some good games in the Six Nations. Yeah, it's been pretty competitive overall. I mean, Italy getting 11 points throughout the season has been fantastic. Good shot from Gary Ringrose. But Scotland are now 4 metres out from the try line. Christie trying his absolute hardest to get them back into this contest. There is not much time left, though, for Scotland to have a chance. They need to score right now. And Horn's got that chance. Uses the speed. Moves to 20 metres out. Matt Fagerson runs out of options round the side. So it will be Russell. Goes across to Ewan Ashman. Should be fresh, seeing as he did take a 10-minute break from the field with that yellow card earlier on. Finn's going to have a black eye and potentially a DuPont as well. And Russell has lost that magic, to be honest. Well, I think it's been more kicking orientated throughout this game, and it hasn't really worked in their favour because Ireland have just been willing to run it back, and more of the possession has been in favour of the Irish due to them kicking it straight back. Hugh Jones breaks through. Chance for him. He sells them the wrong way. And it's the try for Scotland between the sticks. Hugh Jones scores it. The late drama in this contest now, ladies and gentlemen. Scotland are $5 underdogs. They've got a chance here. It's a small chance, but it's a chance to come back in this contest. Russell, self-proclaimed Messi. Get real, son. Says a mark on 230 tackles. Isn't Scotland tired by now? You would think so, but it seems like now they've just ramped themselves up to that next level for the final few moments. That yellow card for Ireland could be crucial. Score now sitting 13 points to 17. Scotland are $7 underdogs, ladies and gents. Like I mentioned, the odds forever changing in this game. They were $31 underdogs just before, and now they've got a chance of coming back and winning this game. Now, it won't change the winner of the Six Nations. It would still be the Irish, but it would do a lot of confidence for the Scottish if they were to win this game. 2 minutes remaining now, though. Not much time to be able to work. Said have Scotland somehow just got themselves back into this contest? Or is it going to be over? Scotland need a try. Right, we will go like this, and we will go like that. There we go. Now running through. Chance for Scotland. How are they going to do this? 100 seconds remaining on the clock. Come on, Scotland, says Undeli there. And yes, so many tackles, not enough. What time next game, brother? It is going to be a 9 a.m. That's the knock-on from Scotland. But they've kicked it away, Ireland. Because they grub it forward. No, they will go back, Matthew Carley says. Now, that was one of those scenarios they could have continued playing. Clearly backwards, says Scott Bowie. And do Ireland still have it won? Yeah, they do. In terms of the Six Nations, that is. Oh, captains are getting called over. This is for the red card. or the yellow card at the moment? Is it going to be upgraded? The yellow card will remain a yellow card. Still means that they won't have all of their players on the field, Ireland, for the final moments. But that was the chance that Scotland needed. And they've blown it by dropping that ball. Whether it went forward or backwards, it's still that little mistake they couldn't afford to make. Like they've just said, because Ireland got boot to ball, theoretically that is normally advantage over. Okay, so they've actually said, I don't think the commentator agrees. He thinks that should have been play on due to Ireland kicking the ball forward. And Springboks won't be worried by this performance by Ireland. A penalty try. Says Krampus there. It's going to be fed in now by Connor Murray. 30 seconds left on the clock once this ball comes out of the scrum. Going to the short side. Bundyaki taking it. I don't think Ireland are looking to score here. They're looking to retain this ball, put it into touch, and secure the Six Nations. Like they've said, a never say die effort from this Scottish side. They need a good turnover here, though. I think the Irish players leaving their feet in that breakdown. Staying as the yellow 2 minutes left, says Undeli. A very ugly win, but a win nonetheless. A ref won them that. I was clearly backwards, says Scott. It could have also been advantage over, but that is the siren. The ball is kicked into touch, and Ireland win the Six Nations 2024 competition. Man of the match was Jameson Gibson-Park. We saw some valiant efforts from a few Scottish players, but in the end, Ireland too strong. They confirm 4 out of 5 wins. They do not get the Grand Slam, but they do go back-to-back for Six Nations titles. We have got there Scotty too hotty. And brilliant as always, Hamish, happy the Irish won, and Morning Blues Nate, and keep the ball. Says Undeli, and happy St. Patrick's Day, y'all. Says Jimbo, and Ireland flags from Ava. And the chat as well, revenge for France on Scotland. Says Big Rig. Yeah, game is over, and the Six Nations is now over for these two sides. Ireland are the victors, and this is supposed to be the best team in the world. Says Mitch. They've got themselves another Six Nations title under their belt. They're playing Zombie at the ground. Hopefully the Springboks will claim the Rugby Championship. Says Mono Lagrange. Thank you, Hamish. I'll be back the next game to be a nuisance. Says Naz. So we will be looking forward to it, and probably Ireland's last trophy for a few years. Says Kip's Guitar. Our wild and I wish. Says Marco, and dodgy referee decision on the backwards last ball or lost ball. Says JP. And on the next match, says Connor, we certainly are. So that will be starting in about an hour and a bit. Is when the live stream will be starting, but the match itself starts in an hour and 15 minutes. But thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next match. England versus France.